2021's question 2 was, why is data stored as binary format? Well, I mean, two good reasons. One, things need to be either on or off. You know, you can't be like trinary, on, off, and sort of making a noise. I have no idea what it's doing, which is actually, you'd think it does work in trinary no computers, but yeah, that's reason one. Computers, transistors inside computers, that's how computers work on using transistors. Those transistors, those tiny little circuit components, they represent 1 being on and 0 being off. Some people refer to them as true or false, high, low, and that true false thing comes from the very famous mathematician who died of Irish weather. He walked to the place in Cork where he worked in the rain, and he came back and got pneumonia because he didn't put his hat on. Well, actually, he died because his wife was into alternative medicine and decided to cure his pneumonia by giving him an ice bath. So there you go. Alternative medicine. He went the way of Steve Jobs. What's wrong with regular medicine? But I digress. The second reason is that if you want the most reliable system, either on or off is way better than on, possibly a little bit on, pretty on, and completely off. I mean, if you think of it, like if you throw a dart at a board and there's just black and white separated by a vertical line, it's going to go into one of them. It's very unlikely it's going to end up on the border, do you know? But the more segments you divide it into, if you divide it into 10, you're more likely to hit a border, aren't you? In fact, if you divide it into, take it to the extreme, if you divide that into like a gazillion, a million slices, you're going to hit an edge, probably, you know? So that's pretty much it. Let's look at what the marking scheme has to say here. So the circuits in a computer's processor are made up of transistors. Yeah, they're the things that are on or off. Okay, they used to be big chunky things, but now they're like super small. A transistor is a switch, just like a light switch to your bedroom or something like that. Okay, and it's activated by the signal it receives, kind of like, I don't know, like a remote control tap that turns on and off and lets water through. So imagine if you have a smart tap. I don't know why you'd have a smart tap in your bathroom, but that would be the closest thing to a transistor, especially if you had a wire going to it. God knows why you'd ever do that. But imagine you had like a remote control wire to a tap that just stops water coming out of your tap and lets it go again. That's really kind of like, I suppose, the closest thing to a transistor, you know? It can be allow water to flow, as in high, or it can stop, 0, false, off. Okay, so it says here signals can be 0 volts or 5 volts, as in binary, so 0 and 1. Yeah, the digits 1 and 0 are used to reflect the on and off states in the transistor, as we said. And this is what we're talking about when I was talking about throwing darts. So the least amount of states you have, the lower the chance of that dart ending up on a border, you know, because there's only one tiny thin border. Whereas if you have, I mean, you can, you know, instead of using binary, you could use octal, you could use hex, you could use, I mean, you could use any base system you want. But things work better when there's just two states. I heard apparently the Russians tried to make a trinary computer. They tried. See what I did there?